8 lessons to become mentally unshakable. You are living in a prison and you don't even realize it. Every time you change your behavior to fit in, every time you replay an awkward conversation in your head, and every time you stress over someone else's opinion, you are handing over the keys to your internal peace. You are letting outside forces rule you. But it doesn't have to be this way. 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius faced immense public pressure, political betrayal, and constant chaos. Yet he remained entirely calm. He possessed an internal armor that nothing could pierce. If you are tired of overthinking, feeling anxious, and letting the world dictate your mood, it is time to build that exact same armor. Here are 8 essential Stoic lessons to transform your mind and make yourself truly unshakable. Lesson 1. Command the dichotomy of control. The foundation of all mental freedom begins with a single harsh truth. Most things in this world are completely outside of your influence. The Greek philosopher Epictetus taught that our suffering does not come from external events, but from our demand to control them. When you step out into the world, you can control your preparation, your effort, and your personal integrity. You cannot control whether people like you, criticize you, or understand you. Other people judge you through the messy lens of their own bad days, insecurities, and personal biases. Trying to force them to see you favorably is a losing battle that drains your mental energy. The truly unshakable individual draws a hard line between what is up to them and what is not, pouring their entire focus into their own actions while letting the opinions of the crowd fade into background noise. Lesson 2. Shatter the spotlight illusion. We spend our days carrying a heavy burden, mistakenly believing that we are under a permanent spotlight. We assume that every mistake we make is being catalogued and judged by everyone around us. Marcus Aurelius exposed this human flaw in his private journals, writing that it is a fascinating contradiction how every person loves themselves more than anyone else, yet sets far less value on their own opinion of themselves than on the opinions of others. The reality is that the people you are desperately trying to impress are far too wrapped up in their own panic, self-doubt, and life problems to care about yours for more than a fleeting moment. Public opinion is not a grand, organized jury waiting to convict you. It is merely a distracted crowd of individuals who are just as anxious as you are. Stop valuing their temporary, passing thoughts over your own self-respect. Lesson 3. Fortify your inner citadel. The ultimate goal of Stoic training is the construction of what philosophy calls the inner citadel. This is a mental fortress built deep within your consciousness that no insult, rumor, or external crisis can breach. The philosopher Seneca observed that words and actions hold absolutely no physical power over your soul. An insult cannot break your bones, and a dirty look cannot ruin your character. The only way an external attack causes pain is if your mind willingly opens the fortress gates, takes the insult inside, and uses it to wound itself. When someone treats you with disrespect or anger, do not retaliate. Instead, view them with quiet compassion. Recognize that their hostility is simply an outward reflection of their own internal chaos. Keep your citadel walls high, anchor yourself firmly to your values, and let their words shatter harmlessly against your armor. Lesson 4. Practice the premeditation of adversity. Anxiety thrives on surprise. We panic because we treat every setback, rejection, and rude comment as an unexpected shock. The Stoics neutralized this fear through a practice known as Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. Before you step out of your door each morning, take a quiet moment to mentally rehearse the worst-case scenarios. Remind yourself that you will likely encounter arrogant, ungrateful, and dishonest people today. Anticipate that your plans might fail or that someone might let you down. This isn't pessimism, it is strategic mental preparation. By visualizing these difficulties before they happen, you remove their shock value. When the storm eventually hits, you will not panic. You will simply look at the chaos and say, "I already expected you," allowing you to respond with cold, calculated logic rather than raw emotion. If you have made it this far into the video, it tells me you are someone who values mental strength over comfort. Hit the subscribe button right now to join our community and build your discipline with us every single week. Let's move on to Lesson 5. Lesson 5. Reject the victim mindset. The moment you blame someone else for your emotional state, you become their captive. Marcus Aurelius provided a simple, definitive rule for mental endurance. Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. Suffering is entirely a matter of perspective. If a colleague undermines you at work, the objective reality is merely that they spoke words in a room. The subjective harm only exists if you tell yourself a story that you are a helpless victim who has been ruined. You cannot always stop people from acting maliciously, but you possess absolute authority over how you label their actions. Refuse to give them the satisfaction of making you feel miserable. Erase the narrative of injury, reframe the obstacle as a test of your patience, and reclaim your personal power. Lesson 6. Embrace your fate. When life doesn't go according to plan, the average person wastes immense amounts of energy complaining, resisting, and wishing reality were different. This internal friction is where deep misery is born. The Stoics mastered a concept called Amor Fati, the love of one's fate. This means you do not merely tolerate the difficult seasons of your life, you actively embrace them as fuel. Think of your life as a fire. When a fire is weak, a heavy log will smother it and put it out. But when a fire is intense, throwing a heavy log onto it only makes it burn hotter and brighter. Every betrayal, every failure, and every piece of criticism is just more wood for your fire. Use these hardships to test your limits, sharpen your discipline, and forge an unyielding character. Lesson 7. Build an internal standard of success. Most people live their lives chasing moving goalposts set by society. They want the praise, the titles, and the validation of external metrics to feel worthy. The danger of this lifestyle is that your self-worth rises and falls entirely based on factors you cannot control. The Stoic individual operates on an internal scorecard. Your success is not measured by applause or the approval of a crowd. It is measured solely by whether you acted with courage, wisdom, and justice. Did you give your absolute best effort? Did you speak the truth? Did you maintain your honor in a difficult situation? If the answer is yes, then you have already won. When your standards are entirely internal, praise cannot make you arrogant and criticism cannot make you weak. You become completely self-contained. Lesson 8. Remember your own mortality. When you are drowning in social anxiety and obsessing over what someone thinks of you, your world becomes incredibly small. You turn tiny, insignificant problems into massive catastrophes. The ancient cure for this narrow perspective is Memento Mori, the constant awareness of your own mortality. Remind yourself that you are a temporary speck on a tiny rock floating through an indifferent universe. In a short matter of time, you, the people you are desperately trying to please, and the mistakes you are terrified of making will all be completely forgotten, swept away by history. This realization shouldn't make you sad. It should make you radically free. Why waste your limited, precious time on earth hiding from judgment or living to fulfill the expectations of strangers? Drop the heavy burden of people-pleasing. Step out of the spotlight, stand firmly in your own truth, and live your life with unapologetic, unshakable purpose.